What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. You are now locked into the J&J Boxing Podcast. My name's Jordan Henderson, and the other half of the J&J Boxing Podcast, Aaron Joshua, is out in Riyadh supporting his cousin, who's going to be fighting Ngannou today. Make sure you lock into this channel because there'll be footage coming from Riyadh. Now, this is the prediction video for Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou and Zhang versus Joseph Parker. Let's get into it. So, let's start off with Zhang versus Joseph Parker. Truth be told, this fight could be a main event in itself. Zhang weighed in the 290s, whereas Joseph Parker weighed in, I believe, just off memory, 247. That is a huge weight disparity, but let me tell you this right here, right now. Joseph Parker has the potential to win this fight handedly. He has the potential to. Now, me and Aaron were talking about this. I think that Parker has the potential to win this fight handily. But it depends on a few factors. It depends on Joseph Parker's ability to fight on the back foot for 12 rounds at this weight. But it also depends on Zhang's subsequent pacing of the fight. And I'm under no illusion that Zhang is going to be extremely dangerous early on. Now, Zhang is a southpaw, Joseph Parker is orthodox. Often you'll see the orthodox and the southpaw excuse me, it's the morning, so I'm a little bit tired. You'll see the orthodox and the southpaw jostling for lead hand position. And you'll see them battling for the lead foot position, having your foot on the outside. So there'll often be a little hand game going on with regards to the orthodox versus the southpaw. And there'll also be the battle for angles. But in this fight right here, I don't see that happening. I don't see Parker. So often when the southpaw and the orthodox fight each other, they'll be battling for that lead hand, because whoever can get their lead hand on the outside of the opponent's lead hand is in a position to use the exit route if they need to pivot out of the way of the opponent's backhand. But further to that, they are also in a better position to subsequently land their backhand as well. I don't see that really happening in this fight, because I don't think Parker's going to hang around in the pocket. I think Parker's going to be on the peripheral of the ring. I think that Zhang's going to be planted in the center of the ring like an old line. And I think that if Parker leaves himself in Zhang's proximity, Zhang is deceptively quick with that straight left, and he also has a check right hook as well, which we saw in action against Joe Joyce. So I believe this fight is going to be cat and mouse, and I believe ultimately that this is a real pick and fight. I think this is a real close fight, people. I think that Zhang, you can never quite say with certainty that someone in their 40s is going to go and beat a top 10 heavyweight, and that's what Joseph Parker is, a top 10 heavyweight. These two have a common opponent in Joe Joyce. Parker lost to Joe Joyce by stoppage. Zhang actually stopped Joe Joyce. So they have opposite results with regards to the common opponent, but styles make fights. And I believe that Joe Joyce scenario doesn't really play into this fight. I believe that Zhang's going to be dangerous early. I think Parker is going to have to fight in an ambush style. And I think ultimately this fight, I see this fight edging towards Zhang. I see it edging towards Zhang. Would I be surprised if Parker won the fight? Absolutely not. But I don't think, now people are going to be singing Parker's praises for beating Deontay Wilder, but Zhang, although slower, sets his punches up better than Wilder. Zhang has more technical skill than Parker, and Zhang is a southpaw, which adds an awkward element to the fight for Joseph Parker. And I just see Zhang being able to set something up. Now, Parker is not defensively blessed. I think Parker although he's got athleticism, I don't necessarily think that he's going to be able to stay out of the way of Zhang. I think at some point Zhang's going to connect. And I don't think Parker has the foot speed or the ring IQ to keep out of the way of Zhang for 12 rounds. But don't ever get it twisted. Parker, if he was to win this fight, I would not be surprised at all. I just think the angles of the southpaw. I know I said they're not going to be jostling for lead hand position. I know I said they're not going to be, battling for foot on the outside, because I think Parker's going to be very in and out, or if he can't get out, he will clinch. But I think that Zhang will catch up to him at some point in the fight. And I think my money's on Zhang hurting Parker more than Parker hurting Zhang. I'm not discounting a Parker win by points or stoppage, because you can, if someone's in their 40s, I can never discount it. And also Parker is a top level fighter in his own right, but I just see Zhang edging this one. Now, with regards to the main event, Joshua versus Ngannou, for me, this is pretty straightforward. Joshua is a fighter who has technically improved significantly. Now, I am not necessarily convinced that Anthony Joshua right now is... I wouldn't necessarily say that he can go out there and blast out Francis Ngannou. And I wouldn't necessarily say that Anthony Joshua cannot be hurt by Francis Ngannou. But what I can say is that if we're looking at the realms of possibilities, that it's far more likely that Anthony Joshua is going to, with his superior boxing IQ, fight a smart fight on the outside. Now, Joshua weighed in the 250s. That's not uncommon for him these days. Francis Ngannou, on the other hand, weighed in the 270s. But interestingly enough, Joshua looks more bulky than Ngannou. For me, that is a simple case of bone density. I think Francis Ngannou has bigger bone density, which could be linked to this rumored chin that Francis Ngannou has. For me, you can't face Fury and have an iron jaw. Like, I mean, as in what I'm saying is, you can't say, oh, he fought Fury, he didn't get knocked out, therefore he's got an iron jaw. Now, people talk about MMA, but MMA, are they really landing as clean and specialized as boxing? Are they specialized in hand-to-hand combat as much as boxing? Absolutely not. Now, MMA fighters, I would pick most MMA fighters in a street fight over boxers, but at the end of the day, boxers are specialized in the one thing they can do, and the one thing they're trained to do is to land punches. This is going to be Francis Ngannou's first time in a boxing ring in a pro fight with a top-level concussive puncher. I'm not saying Tyson Fury can't hurt you. I'm saying Anthony Joshua is a prolific puncher. So I think in this fight, if Joshua sticks to his boxing, he just keeps it on the outside. Not running, but just on the outside, picking his moments to come forward and using the jab, 1-2, jab to the body, working it off the jab, everything off the jab, throw plenty of feints against the inexperienced MMA fighter. I think that he should be able to significantly win on points, a shutout almost against Francis Ngannou. Maybe the first round you could give it a draw because, Joshua working the guy out. But I reckon I don't see Joshua losing this fight, apart from a lucky punch. The only way Joshua loses this fight for me is if he's got old overnight, or if he decides to put the high guard up and go center ring and slug it out with Francis Ngannou. I don't think he's going to do that. He's got Ben Davison in his corner. He knows better than that. So I don't think that's going to happen. Therefore, I'm picking Anthony Joshua. And I'm probably saying he's going to get Francis Ngannou out of there. I'm not saying it's going to be Francis Ngannou knocked out on the floor, out cold. I'm saying, back against the ropes, ref stopping it. Even a slightly controversial one where people saying, it could have gone on. But I just see Anthony Joshua winning by shutout or by, late stoppage or something like that. That's my opinion. I think he'll give Ngannou his respect. I think he'll give him his flowers because he's rumored to have this iron jaw. He's been a concussive puncher in MMA, but I don't think that's going to be enough in this fight. And I'm expecting Anthony Joshua to do a better job significantly than Tyson Fury. And by the way, I had Tyson Fury winning that fight. I score boxing fights on a regular basis, and I scored that fight 2 points to Tyson Fury. But I think Anthony Joshua, it's not even going to be close, in my opinion. So those are my thoughts. Make sure you continue to check this channel. Make sure you check, because there already is, and there's going to be more footage with regards to what's going on down in Riyadh, because Aaron, who also is on this podcast, he is out there supporting Anthony Joshua. So he's actually got the footage that he's sending to me, and I'm banging it on this channel. So make sure that you keep checking that. And with that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notifications so you get notifications when we come out with new videos. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day. See you on the next one.